Welcome back to the channel. Chad and I have a great new series planned for you guys, and I'm going to let Chad walk you through the steps that you guys are going to see over the next several videos.
So within this series, I'm really excited to announce we are going to LS swap the Cutlass. So you've seen me before by myself. This time I got Kyle with me, but you see me before. We rebuilt that engine, the 350 rocket that's in there currently. We threw the Holley EFI on it, and then actually over the last summer I tried hypersparking it, and that didn't go so well, which is what leads us to this event now of us LS swapping it. Just kind of tired of that old carbureted or EFI engine, and we're going to go ahead and put in the true solution. Sorry for any of the people that are the purists, but it's what I want, and that's what we're going to do here. So like Kyle said, we're going to take you through the full series of how we're going to go ahead and accomplish that, installing it. We got all the accessories, the drivetrain from transmission to the front, and we're gonna go ahead and do this. So let's go ahead and pop the hood. We're going to take you through the engine bay, what we're going to need to do first, because the first thing we're going to need to do is pull that engine out of there. It needs to go. So let's go ahead and reposition, get you inside the engine bay, and we'll go from there.
You ready to start this?
Yeah.
Because once we start this, that's going in there.
Yeah.
And we're...
That's the plan, man. So we got the engine bay open now, but before we go ahead and jump in there, I want to take you through my LS a little bit here. So this is an LS. It was out of a 2002, or sorry, it was out of a 2003 Chevy Avalanche 1500 series. So this is the 5.3 liter. So this engine is pretty well stock on the bottom end. I didn't do anything to the bottom end as far as like pistons, ring gaps, or anything like that. I'm not planning on turboing this at any point right now, but I've heard that the bottom end on these truck engines are pretty stout. So I didn't deal with anything there, but I did do pretty much everything from there up. So we went ahead and tore this down, threw new heads on it. These are the 243 heads, LS intake, fuel rails are already on it. New valves, got a little bit of a upgraded camshaft, and I'll go through more of that all in depth at a later episode. But just kind of a brief thought on what's in this engine right now, and a couple of key differences that we're going to have to do between this engine and the one that's in it is that with this engine, it is a little bit longer and a little bit more bulky than the 350 rocket that's in there currently, which is where it comes down to the fact that we're going to need to get different engine mounts and how we're going to put it into the Cutlass, because it's going to need to be retrofit. We're also going to be using the Turbo 350 that's in the Cutlass currently. I decided not to go with a 4L60E at this time or 4L80E at this time. I have one, but I'm not going to use it yet, and I'm going to use that Turbo 350 because that is fully rebuilt and everything like that. So we're going to go ahead and use that transmission and just made it up to this engine, and it should work out really, really well. But let's go ahead and get inside the engine bay here and start understanding those key differences on that engine versus this one, and start pulling some things apart so that we can get ready to take it out of there. All right, so within the engine bay, there's one key difference that you might notice right away, and that the Sniper EFI is gone. I ended up selling that Sniper EFI just in the fall of last year. Sold it for actually $1,000 full kit. The only thing I didn't install was the only thing I didn't sell is the fuel pump that's in the fuel tank right now. That's because I'm going to be using it for this LS swap. But you can see that that's gone. My distributor is gone right now because I switched over to Hyperspark and it didn't work out the way I wanted to. So that's already missing. And a lot of the electrical is already out of here. Only thing that's left pretty much from there is the fuel line, fuel gauge, and then got the spark plugs there. But pretty much what we're going to need to do right away here is we're going to need to roll underneath this, drain all the fluids. We got the oil, we got the transmission fluid, and the coolant. That all needs to go away, and we need to then start just disconnecting some things. We got heater hoses here and there. Got to get the fuel lines out of the way. We need to get spark plugs out of there and the front accessories off. And what's really nice then is what we can do is go ahead and probably pick this all together, transmission and engine, and just pull it all out of there. But that also means I have to remove the drive shaft as well. So let's go ahead and start with doing that, and then we'll go ahead and see what kind of progress we make tonight, because it is kind of late. So we're just going to see what we can get here and go from there. But before we do that, Kyle and I are going to go ahead and remove this hood. It's just too much in the way, and we got some extra light up top. So hood's going to come off, and we'll keep working.
All right, hood is off now, and before Chad jumps in here, I'm gonna take my opportunity to explain what my part is. My part is not just supplying the barn here, but is also the electrical. Chad hates doing electrical work. I love doing electrical work. Give me a pair of headphones and get out of my way. It is my heaven. So seeing what Chad currently has done in here kind of makes me a little cringing in the core, but we're gonna rip most of this out, probably 90% of the electrical that's up here with these wires and whatnot, all going away. We're going rear mounted battery with this, and we're gonna do a lot of the controls inside of the compartment here underneath the passenger footwell is where we're gonna put most of it, hopefully, if it fits. But Chad's gonna step in here and we're gonna start tearing this thing down and getting ready to get this engine out of here. I'll let you pull the first one. It's your car.
What are we pulling?
I don't know.
We're going spark plugs. All right, so you might have seen us taking off a number of things. We have currently done the spark plugs. We have done the fuel lines, put them off to the side. Brake booster hose that came over to the brake booster canister that I installed. Getting a lot of the bulk out of the way because you just don't need it. Alternator's out, and that's what Kyle's taking off right now is the alternator bracket from here. You know, anything that kind of just reduces the amount that's on here, we're just gonna take off and throw off to the side. We might reassemble it out of the vehicle at some point, but just trying to get the majority out. We're gonna keep moving here. We have the lower alternator bracket. We have the fuel pump that's in there. We gotta remove a couple lines off that, the old one. Never uninstalled it. And then a few wires here and there that are still hooked in, but power steering pump as well. But we're gonna keep going, and you'll just kind of watch us along the way.
All right, that'll wrap us up for this episode. You saw us obviously talking about the LS and the difference between it and the rocket motor that it is going to replace. Chad's excited about putting this new engine in, as well as am I. Today, what we did is basically just some top level work. We were unbolting things, taking off front accessories, getting some of the components out of the way so we can lift this engine out and get room so we can start cleaning up this engine bay to put the LS in there. Chad, anything else for this trip?
No, man, we did a lot of good work tonight. Like he said, fluids are the next thing, and then hopefully unbolting it. I think we're going to try to just do the engine by itself coming up, and then doing the transmission after that. I just kind of want to save some of the front end stuff, like the radiator. Just don't want to nick or hit anything. So kind of just, that's going to be the next episode, us actually removing this engine after getting those fluids drained, and hopefully having a fresh slate to put this LS in there. So no, I'm good. Otherwise than that, I think we're gonna go ahead and close this one out and catch you guys in the next episode. Thanks for watching, guys.